Hi, everyone, and welcome to part 4 of this series on how to start a nonprofit organization. And today we are going to be looking at a little bit more on the NGO application process. I know we covered it during the previous session, but I would like to take you through a little bit more for those who may be interested in actually doing the applications by themselves. As always, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Lucy Njue, and I help founders and professionals working for nonprofits to attract and retain donors by equipping them with grant writing skills and simple, easy to use, and affordable fundraising resources to grow your organizations and transform more lives. As I mentioned, I would want us to go to the NGO coordination website. Looks like that. So what you need to do is to click on our services, and then you go to registration services, you click on it. So this gives you the steps that we talked about in our previous videos, the different things, services they offer to help you with your registration process. And like we mentioned, the first one is the duly filled name submission form, which takes a day. And I just want, you can see you can download it from their website. So when you click on it, this is how the form looks like. So you write your full name and of course your address, and you say that you are requesting your approval to register an NGO organization, and then you provide the names, the 3 different names or suggestions that you would want them, how you'd want your name, your NGO to be named. So provide 3 different suggestions. Always, of course, you start with the one that you wish or the one that you really want to go through. But of course, you know, like I mentioned in the previous videos, there are many reasons why they may not grant you your wish. So have 3 different forms ready, submit. And that is it for that form. So that is it. We go back to our next step. We talked of Form 1 and Form 3. And again, you can download Form 1 here. Form 1, I think, is a form for contacts. Yes, I think it's, yeah. So you write just contacts of that organization. So the name of the organization. So by this time now you have been given approval. You have your name, so you are sure of the name. So you provide the name of the organization, of course, your address, basically your contact details. Who is the contact person? Where is it? The district of operation or the county in this case? Is it a national organization? Is it an international? And the date of registration in Kenya. Of course, this is not a date you'll be having by the time you are submitting this document. So that is how the contact looks like. I think it's something that is very easy. Anyone can actually do this, in my view, but with assistance of someone else. Yeah, I'm sure you can do this. Then we have Form 3. Remember we talked of Form 3. Now, Form 3 is the main application form. This is a detailed form. And as you can see, it's from the start, there are very many notes to, things to take note of. So I think most of these things we covered in our session, in our previous session, I think part 3. So it lists down all the things that should be attached to this form, the things we were talking about, the particulars of your officials, the copies of your constitution, passport, photographs, IDs, certificate of registration. But what I noted with this form, compared with some other details I've gotten from the lawyers, this seems not to be very detailed. I noted, for example, on this form, there is they are not asking for KRA PIN certificates. I think I didn't see it, but they're very, basically there is the same form, but I noted that I think they have, the form seems to be a little bit outdated, and because the current requirements also require you to have your KRA PIN certificates for the officials, and also the clearance certificate. Those are the 2 things. I mean, the police clearance certificates, I noted that is not in this list. But otherwise, the other things are pretty the same with what I shared with you. So make sure you read all that. And then part 2, you have the name of the proposed organization and the contact details. Then the next part is for you to fill in your main objective. Like we said, you need to know even before you start, this application, what exactly are your priority areas? What is the nature of the proposed organization? Is it a health organization? Are you going to be focusing on sports? Is it peace building and all that? And you can specify who are you going to be helping with this organization? Basically, who is your target audience? Is it the elderly? Is it the caregivers? Is it refugees? Is it OVCs, the orphans and vulnerable children? You need to indicate that. So these are things you should have thought early. How does the organization operate? You need to indicate, is it an umbrella? Is it a network organization? Is it a membership organization? And you can see there's a list of things there. Is it a relief which provides food aid and other basic necessities? So define what you, how you operate. You are told there for organizations in operation, please indicate your income. That is in case maybe you are renewing. So you need to indicate your income for the last financial year. Financial year of the proposed organization. When does your year run? Is it from January to December? Is it from whichever time you indicate? Other countries of operation, especially for international organizations. And then the current and planned counties of operation. Where do you intend to implement? Remember, as an NGO, it's a national level organization. So unlike the CBO, where you are being asked the sub-county and you are confined to one county, for NGO, you can pick a number of counties, but they also say specify at most 5 counties. So at this point, just indicate 5 counties maximum. The next thing is particulars of the officials, and you can see the personal particulars of the chairperson needs to be filled, their qualifications, and they have to certify that that information is correct. The secretary as well, and then the treasurer also has to sign. And then lastly, they ask for a list of additional board members, which you are supposed to attach as a separate sheet if necessary. And that is it. This is how Form 3, which is the main application form, looks like. I don't think it's very complicated for anyone. But again, as I said, if you maybe you are too busy, you can always engage a lawyer to do this for you or volunteer. These young people, most of them can be able to do this and collect all this information for you. So that is how Form 3 looks like. The other one that we can have a quick look at is a proposed one-year budget. They have provided us with a template. Pretty simple template again, extremely simple. Actually, you just provide for your budget the sources. You tick the sources, not actually tick, you indicate the amount, maybe grants, the local income donations, international donations, bank interest, whatever source of income. This is just a guidance. And then you provide the expenditure that you foresee to incur within the first 1 year of operation if you are new. So some of the kind of expenditures you expected to have are salaries, rent, maintenance, equipment and supplies, media and communication. A lot of marketing is expected, office expenses, project costs, project-related costs, travel, any miscellaneous expenses and any community expenses. And of course, once you have your expenses, then you can look at now the difference between your income and your expense to see whether you are operating at a negative budget or a positive one. So basically, that is how the budget template looks like. As I said, pretty simple. They're not asking for complicated things. I believe it's something that we can be able to do. And lastly, I see a prototype of a constitution. Let's look at the constitution and see how, again, the constitution looks like. So yes, so there's this sample. You can see it's a draft, but you can adopt. Just provides, again, the name, their optional provisions. I don't think I want to read all these, but basically this was just to show you, you don't have to redo the will. All you need to do is to make sure that now you reflect your organization. For example, you can see if it's the main objectives, put in your specific objectives. I think they have provided a pretty good template that we can use. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay, so that is the template for the constitution. And lastly, there's document here, which is before you are issued with a certificate, again, you must download the terms and conditions and sign. So, we have to adhere to the regulations. So you have to sign that actually you have read the terms and conditions of NGOs, what is expected of you, and they provide you with the introduction, the governance, how NGOs are supposed to be run. So there's a lot of information. You don't have to rethink much. So, for example, you're expected to establish a board, a substantive board, within 1 year after registration. At least 1/3 of the officials of an NGO must be Kenyan citizens and residents at any given time, and especially this applies to the international organizations. So there are all those guidance, areas of operation, terms and conditions attached to the certificate of registration. Yes, in case you want to change the name, the constitution, any officer, they provide you with information of what do you do. So, for example, if you want to change the title of officers, you fill a form they call Form 13. Then you are told that, remember, you're supposed to submit annual returns without failure in accordance with the NGO's regulation. I think Act 24, I'm not a lawyer, but basically you need to fill a form called Form 14. And this should be done within the 3 months after the end of the financial year. So if your financial year ends in December, then that means by March, you need to have submitted your annual returns. There are notes around, it provides a lot of guidance, work permits, especially for people, international NGOs. Issues to do with tax exemption, you need to read and understand the Kenyan constitution, bank account. Of course, as an NGO, you have to you need a letter of authorization from the NGO's coordination board before opening any bank account. So there's a lot of information here that even myself, I didn't know. So it's been a good learning experience. But basically, what for me, the key takeaway point is that this information is available to us. It's on their website. We just need to take advantage of it. And once we decide that we are registering an NGO, I think it should be something that is not so hard for us to do. And as always, before I end, for those who would want to learn so much more about the basics of fundraising, I have written a book where I share in details some of the simple steps that you can take to kickstart your fundraising journey. I just want to encourage you. There are some things that you are struggling with that can easily be answered by this book. It goes for Kenya shillings 500 only. So please take your copy and get started. And I will also be sharing the link where you can easily get the copy. And for those who would want to learn so much more about how to write award-winning proposals, I have a detailed program, self-paced online program, where you can, where we get to learn about the different components of a proposal, and most importantly, how to develop them, the language to use, what must be, what is attractive to the donors, and all that. And so, yeah, for more, you can check out my website, www.lucinjoy.com. Thank you very much for staying with me and for your time. I do appreciate a lot.